This is dealer tooling. On paper, dealer tooling is the most powerful investment an independent workshop can make. But there's 6 hard truths that workshops only learn most of the time after they spent the money. I've been working in the industry for over 40 years, and for the last 2.5 decades, I've been involved with dealer diagnostic tools, and we've dealt with thousands of workshops over that period. So today, I'm going to be putting out those 6 mistakes and how to avoid them and how to keep your OEM tools profitable for your business. So what is a dealer tool? Simply put, it's exactly the same tool that's been developed by the manufacturer to use in their aftermarket, i.e. their own dealers and the independent aftermarket. The software includes every single vehicle that they've ever manufactured pretty much on there and steps you through processes all the way up to the latest vehicle that's just left the production line. Point number 1 is choosing the right brand for you. Now, many people jump into this and think, well, this is really obvious, we know what we're going to do. But there's a lot more research that you need to do before you jump into that brand. The first thing you're going to need to do is actually have a look at lost business, records, invoicing, estimates, etc. for the last 6 months. See where you've failed, see where you've subcontracted jobs out, see where you've had to use a remote diagnostic system, see where your profitability is. For example, do you have the staff who are capable of doing this? Are they a Formula main dealer technician? Are they able to actually run with the software they've got now? You don't want the software to be a handicap, you want it to be an asset to your business. Once you've chosen that brand, then everything else becomes obvious and has to line up behind that brand. To summarize, you've got 3 things in there: demand, lost jobs, and expertise. And it's at this point when you really need to examine everything and choose the brand, because when you've chosen the brand, that is going to reflect on the entire future of your workshop and how you move forward. Once you've selected the correct brand that you're going to go for, the next step is the registration process. Now, in Europe, we have the CERMI scheme. In the USA, we have NSTF scheme. In Australia, the AAA are working on other schemes. Now, these schemes don't always apply to every manufacturer. Every manufacturer actually has its own prerequisites, and some are simply not members of the CERMI or NSTF scheme. You might have to apply as an individual. You might have to apply with your workshop owner and a director and an individual. You might have to then go through some ID verifications, such as Ping ID. You might have to go through several different processes in order to register it. It's simply made difficult by the OEM because they want to know who is dealing with their software, what vehicles they're dealing with, and they're not happy to have people messing around with their tooling, which they spent millions and millions of euros or dollars developing. The processes sound complicated, they're actually not. It's just stringent per brand. So if you get a CERMI passport, in some manufacturers' cases, it makes no difference at all. You still have to go through the individual registration process. If you are a workshop or an individual unsure about how to do this, we have lots of information on our website. We actually have buyer's guides on there to talk you through all this process. We also have OEM links to manufacturers to actually show you how to go through the processes. If you're unsure, contact us. Some regions around the world, you can't actually get access. You can through either direct contact with the OEM or through your local importer, but this obviously is a regional dependence. Europe is very easy, Australia's getting easier, and America's always been pretty easy because America is very open because they've had pass-through and gateway access for a number of years. The next part of the process is we've taken you through the registration process. You're already registered for the tool. You then need to look at additional things like, am I buying 100% original OEM tool? If you don't buy 100% original OEM tool, we can tell you that as soon as you go online, it will say, you can't use this tool. You then have to have a powerful laptop, which is to spec of the manufacturers. It may need up to a terabyte or 2 terabyte hard drive these days because we're going to be backing up information and downloading information from the cloud and then possibly reloading the software at the same time. It's quite a complicated business, but that's exactly why Maverick Diagnostics exists. We do this every day globally for major customers and thousands of customers. How do you buy the tool? This is a critical part. You can see diagnostic tools and OEM tools. You can buy them off endless websites globally. The first thing is, if it's cheap, it's probably not real. If it's even moderately cheap, it's probably not even real. You're not going to get any backup or support for those tools. We see so much clone copied software. There's website after website after website out there offering this, offering that, cropped version of this, copied version of this. Simply don't buy it. One of the reasons you don't want to buy it is if you're halfway through doing a vehicle process and you brick that vehicle, it's usually totally unrecoverable. Believe me, I know we come across these cases every day. There is so much wasted money in this market by people buying the wrong tools. You need to check the legitimacy of any company you buy it off. So have they got case study reviews? Are they working with manufacturers? Are they members of organisations? Do they work with OEs? Does the software work with OEs? Is there any crack copied references on the website? You've got to make sure that these companies will support you. They're 100% legitimate, and it's not just a case of buy it and goodbye, which happens again the majority of the time that we see these days. So your OEM tool's arrived, it's working, it's great. There's a lot of additional things you're there. For a start, number one thing you're going to need is battery support. OEM tools simply don't function without battery support, and to do programming you need to keep a constant voltage, and some of these vehicles spike beyond 110 amps now, so you're going to need decent battery support. Then you've got other accessories such as key readers. Key readers are brilliant. BMW one, place the key on and it reads all the customer data directly into the cloud and pours it back into the car. It's really straightforward. And then you've got things like oscilloscopes, which you can add to it all, which make a big difference if you're actually really into in-depth diagnosis. Then you've got things like IDU tools, which are used in Jaguar Land Rovers to do engine analysis, things like EGRs and turbo wastegates, all very useful. Owning a dealer diagnostic tool simply doesn't make you profitable overnight. It's all down to how you use the tool, how you efficiently use the tool, and how you market the efficiency of that tool to your customers. So for example, you go in, you say I've got a Jaguar Land Rover tool, but you still can't fix the vehicle. You need to have some training at this point. Many other people offer training and you can check them out across the country. Every OEM tool is different. It's like speaking a different language. Effectively, they have their own menu structures, they have their own layouts, they have their own diagnosis process, they have their own flows, they're all a little bit different. If you've bought an OEM tool, the first thing you need to do is understand those structures, understand those menus, and do some basic training around that tool. They're not like an aftermarket tool which is built generically, so as soon as you go on a Ford, it's the same as going on a Vauxhall, it's the same as going on a Fiat. It's not like that. They all are structured differently. The reason training is so important is we never want you to turn a job away, because every job you turn away is losing the profitability and investment that you've made in that tool. But even with the right training, there's another reality that most workshops overlook. The final truth that most workshops miss is you've got your new tool, you know how to use it, it's wonderful. You can fix whatever brand that you've chosen with it, it's all going great. What have you not done at this point? Let's have a think. You've not marketed it. Marketing is a huge thing, so getting your social proofs out there as well, getting your marketing done, putting stuff on your website, advertising locally that you can specialize is always a good mark. That also helps within the trade, because other garages may then decide, oh, so-and-so's got the BMW tool, we're going to come to them and we're going to actually use them a bit more. So making sure that your marketing's done is just as important as buying that tool. So it's something to consider when you initially make your investment. To recap our 6 points, we have brand selection, registration process, how to purchase a legitimate tool, the additional equipment you might want, training, and making sure you advertise. If you're ready to invest, we have produced in-depth buyer's guides for all the most popular brands. Just click here and take a look.